Did you know that all of your money that you put in a bank is not actually in the bank? I mean, I know you're going to say, well, obviously, that's great. I know I go there, they've got to do things with it. But there are actually people who have believed, and I've had conversations with them. We're talking doctors and executives who didn't understand that when they put their money in the bank, it's not just sitting in a bank, that the bank is taking those dollars and that they legally only have to keep 10% of your money on deposit, and that the other 90% of your dollars they use instead to provide loans to individuals or investment opportunities. If they're not giving loans, they'll take your money and invest it into investment opportunities that give them amazing returns, interest returns, by using your money because you put it on deposit with them. And you never get a check in the mail for that. If somebody else, if you put $10,000 in the bank today and tomorrow somebody walked in the bank and they needed a $9,000 loan, that bank can give them $9,000 of your money, charge them a 9% interest rate for them to buy a car or whatever they're going to do, and you never get a check in the mail. If you think about banks, what does a bank really create? They don't sell iPhones. They don't sell forks. They don't sell knives. They don't sell art. They don't sell cars. What a bank does is a bank makes money on interest. And it starts with the money that you put on deposit. That is how you can see in every major city these sky rises. The biggest sky rises in any major city are owned by either the insurance or the banks. It's a fact. They're on every corner that you go to. How do they fund those? They fund those because millions of people just like you go to the banks, put their money to keep it safe. Look, I'm not telling you not to put your money in. I'm trying to educate you on what happens when you put that money in to keep it secure, as the banks will use that to build wealth for themselves. Prospio is going to reverse that tables for you. Did you ever wonder why the majority of the Americans, all pay their mortgage sometime within 5 days of the first of the month? Well, who put that system in place? That system is in place because of the way the payroll system works in America. People get paid the last day of the month. They get paid maybe every 2 weeks and in the middle of the month. And it makes sense that they're going to make that payment, 90% of America, within 5 days of the first. How about car payments? You go buy a car today, and when you go buy that car today, they're going to ask you, when do you want your payment? Even though you can choose when you want your payment, the majority of America will pay that car payment within 5 days of the 15th. Well, why is that? Well, because a lot of Americans get paid at the end of the month, and they're going to pay their mortgage, so they need to wait till extra money comes in on the 15th. And then there's those that get paid every 2 weeks or on a bi-weekly period. Maybe they're getting 26 paychecks in a year. But either way, it's just a system they're used to. Since they were kids, since the first time their parents helped them get a car, that's the way that the system works. And the same with credit cards. That you're going to pay your credit cards typically sometime between the 22nd and the 29th. Again, who put this system in place? Nobody really knows, but I can tell you it dates all the way back to when the first finance company started, the day the IRS started, the day the Federal Reserve started. A lot of people don't understand that the Federal Reserve is not a government-owned nonprofit organization. The Federal Reserve is a privately held institution that is ingrained within the government, and there's a lot of very wealthy people around the world that when that was founded in 1913 that have made 6% on any dollar that's ever been created in the history of this country, and then they make interest on that 6% and give the 6% back to the government. That's a whole different discussion. That's a lot of research you can do online. I just want you to know I'm very educated in how the dollar works, how interest works. It's why we have Prospio, and it's why I'm on today, to try to give you some of that information. Let's talk about your money and how it invests. I want to throw a little caveat out there. Even though I'm not telling you how to invest, and legally I wouldn't have to give the disclaimer, I like to give it anyway. I want you all to understand I am not a licensed broker, and I am not a licensed financial advisor. But I could tell you from a lifetime of investing and a lifetime of working with numbers that humbly, I would say that if you put me in a room with about 100,000 of the others, I'm probably in the top 5 in understanding how that money works. And so I'm going to give you a couple little things for you to think about. I'm not telling you to change the way you invest. I'm trying to educate you on the decisions that you may have already made or maybe you're thinking about making. Did you know that if you put $150 a month away in a 401k, let's say, and the reason I'm going to use that number is we're talking typical America right there. Look, America and Americans, a typical family isn't floating in money every day. They're not living the dream yet. They haven't been introduced to Trivesta that we're going to provide that opportunity to live the dream. Right now, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So the average person who is participating in a 401k, we're talking about $150 a month is all that they have to put away. And they're going to put that away under the assumption that they do that for 30 years or so. They're going to be able to retire. They're looking towards their investment, maybe helping their kids. And we're really going to break that down right now. That if you put $150 a month away, that means you're putting $1,800 a year away. And if you put that $1,800 a year away at $150 a month over 30 years, you will have put $54,000 of your own money into an investment. Now, the reason we use 30 years, the reason I'm using the 30-year example is this goes back to statistics again. Statistics show that the average person will participate for about 30 to 32 years in a 401k because when you put that money into those types of investments, you cannot touch that money without paying huge penalties for withdrawing it early. All of you should know that. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. We all understand how that system works. So you're putting $54,000 away over 30 years so that at the end of 30 years, that $54,000, if you're looking at the screen right now, that you will have invested will be worth $102,791. That's fact. It's not fiction. You can go online. There's a lot of different calculators you can pull up. Bankrate is one of them. They're great. You pull up a Bankrate calculator for, pre-tax or 401k type investments, and you could put that in yourself and get these same numbers. These are factual numbers. And the reason that's based off of a 4%. And the reason I'm using 4% is if you took all of America and you threw them in a pool and you took the average return in the last 20 years on a 401k, it's after fees, it's going to be right about that 4%. So that means 30 years from now, you're going to have $102,791 to retire on. Good luck with that. There's just no way that you can retire on $102,791. But during that time that you are making 4% and you are putting that money in, I can tell you that whomever you did that investment with, in order to pay you 4%, they made a lot more than that. They were making 8, 10, 15% on the money and letting you share in the 4% for the fact that they used your money to make all the big returns so that you could earn that 4%. How's that make you feel right now? Starting to get a little bit angry, maybe starting to understand some things you didn't understand when you're looking at $150 a month you're putting away, where you're really going to be 30 years from now? I'm going to skip past this little area here. I'm going to go fast. We're going to talk this mortgage. You've heard Tim talk about this in the webcast. We all understand if you buy a $200,000 home at 4.5% for 30 years, that you're going to pay a total of $365,000 over 30 years. That's 82% interest on your home alone. I want to educate you on something about interest. I'm going to get close on this. You're going to see me get excited. I love this stuff. The average American right now, we've never seen rates as low as they are right now. And the average American is going to say, I'm so proud. I went out and I got a 4.5% interest rate. First, I want you to know if you did that, or maybe you even got the 3.7. They're 3.7, 3.5 out there right now. You should be proud, because in order to get that rate, that means you've at least taken care of your credit. You're trustworthy, you're credit worthy, and you've qualified for that rate. So you should take pride in it. But what I'm about to show you, or what I'm about to discuss with you actually, is probably going to make you a little upset, because you're not going to be as proud about how that 4.5% looks. Did you know the only way that you get 4.5% is if you pay your house every payment on time for 30 years, from beginning to end, period. Because it's an amortization schedule. And what that means, and you're all aware of this, but maybe you just never looked at it from this perspective, is in America, it's not like it was in the 40s and 50s. We're a transitional country because there's so much opportunity. It's so easy to access jobs on the internet now. It's not like it was 20 years ago when there was no internet, that you could find a job in California today and be moving there tomorrow. U-Haul will set you up. That we move on average every 5.5 years. Just think of that. We're moving to a new home in a new state, or a new home in maybe our same community, or across town, or to maybe another city in the same state, whatever, every 5.5 years. That means that you're paying on your mortgage. You bought a house today, and when you make that payment, did you know for the first 5 years, depending on what your interest is, that you're going to pay somewhere between 80 to 90% interest? Because the majority of your payments that you make when you start paying all go to interest. Very little goes to principal. The longer you pay, when you hit 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25, it turns at about that 15-year mark, and now you'll have more going to principal than you did interest. So that is a farce, the 4.5%, because if we're moving every 5.5 years, that means all of the banks, all of the mortgage companies that are giving you that money to buy that home are making more like 80% or more on your money. Do you ever think about that? Just think about that. That's just a phenomenal return. Wouldn't you like to participate in that? Let me tell you. There is a way that we can turn the tables on the companies, the mortgage companies, the banks, the investment companies, the credit card companies, and you can become the bank. You're here because you've already heard about Prospio. You're interested in a program that can guide you like a GPS system, and that you could save a whopping $997,000 in a savings account with only a 1% return of your choice at your bank, not an account that we open for your own, under that same model that we just talked about. If you would take that same 150 that you were looking to put in a 401k maybe, or again, I'm not telling you not to invest, or maybe have an extra 150 on top of your 401k, we're going to show you how it's possible. We're going to show you how you can accomplish it with the same amount of money, and we're going to guarantee the results. When you put the numbers into Prospio, it is not fiction. It is not snake oil. It's not a what if. It's math. There are algorithms in the back. Algorithms do not lie. Math never, ever lies. I don't care if 1 million people in 1 million different locations at the same time put in the same numbers from wherever they are in the world. If they put it into an algorithm, they're going to get the exact same result as long as it's the same information, because it's math. Does not lie. That's what I love about finance. It's true. If you understand the system, you can make sure that the system works for you. If you don't, and some of the things we just know over you didn't never really look at, you never knew it from that perspective, then you have been a victim of a system that's been put in place for a long time. They don't want America to know about it. They don't want you to understand that you're paying them 80% the first 5.5 years, because maybe it would change the way you think. Maybe you would want to do it different. And if you do it different, you're going to impact their bottom line as you impact your bottom line. And that's something that they don't want. We're going to get to a little bit of so that's a little bit of just information for you. That's a little bit of information on how interest works, on how maybe an investment works that you had never looked at it when you're putting $150 away, typically into a savings account or a 401k or wherever you're putting it. A little education on what happens when you put your money in the bank, and how maybe you didn't realize they can use 90% of your dollars to go make more interest on your money and never let you participate in it. So that's a little bit of education for you. And now we're going to get to a little bit of Prospio training is what we're going to go and do. This gets exciting. So we've created this Prospio FAQ, and I'm going to go through this with you step by step. We're going to make this available. This is available now. It's in a PDF format. After this is done, this will be available in the back office. We'll be having that loaded this week to make sure that this type of stuff is at your fingertips as you're out there talking to people about how Prospeo can change their lives. What makes Prospeo different from traditional debt roll-down programs? That's a big question we get all the time. Traditional debt roll-down programs use the snowball effect, where you simply pay off your highest interest debt, and then you take those dollars that you used to spend on that debt, you add it then, once you've paid it off, to a payment on the next highest debt, and then you continue that process. This does pay down debt. It does help you eliminate some small portion of the interest that you're paying because you are paying off the highest debt, but it does it in a very simple way. It does not help you build wealth. It gets you in the mentality of eliminating debt. My friends, advocates here at Trivesta, the lives that you're about to change, don't ever talk to people about eliminating debt. It is how the system wants you to think. Listen to what I'm saying. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is fact. Do you know that some of the biggest supporters of the debt elimination in this country are the same people who give you the credit cards and want you to give them your money? As you're investing it, and as they're giving you the credit cards to get you in debt, they're supporting the same messages on trying to help you get out of debt because it's good social involvement. You know, it's correct. It's the right thing to do. It creates corporate integrity. And I'm not disclaiming what they do. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. You know, Philip Morris back in the years, when they found out what they were doing with cigarettes, they still sell you cigarettes. They'll sell you cigarettes all day long. But they also put billions of dollars every year into telling you how bad cigarettes are for you. But they still make the majority of all their revenue. It came from the cigarette industry. So that's what I'm trying to show you here is the same people who are putting you in debt are the ones that want you to think about how to get out of debt. It's the wrong mentality. When I was growing up, there was a term called nest egg. I don't hear that term anymore. Nobody talks about nest eggs. There's no such thing as a nest egg. There's a few dollars in a savings account and living paycheck to paycheck. And the fear that America has, fear of how am I going to pay for my daughter's wedding when she gets married in a couple of years? How am I going to help put my kids through college? And then ultimately, how am I going to retire and spend the rest of my comfortable years with the person I've spent my entire life with, the person that raised my children? How are we going to get through that? We sure hope our kids make a lot of money so they can support us. That's the typical what you hear America saying. We should be tired of that mentality of getting out of debt. Let's talk about nest eggs again. Let's talk about building wealth, because if you think about it from that mind frame, think about building wealth. If you build wealth by massively reducing interest, that's the way you build wealth. Understand interest. Don't be destined to pay it. Be destined to earn it, as you always hear Tim say during his webcast. It's our favorite saying around here. Be destined to earn it because you understand it. And when you understand it, you'll build wealth. And if you build wealth, debt will disappear. You see, you're still eliminating the debt, but you're approaching it from a different angle. You're approaching it from an angle that you have a right to live the American dream, that you have a right to own your home, not spend your life paying for your home. That's what we're talking about here at Trivesta. That's the life-changing movement that we're bringing to America. We're bringing hope back. We want you to live the American dream with us. We're going to continue to do these webcasts. We're going to continue to do these trainings. We're going to continue to put this type of information out so that we can re-educate America. Look, it's going to be difficult. It's new. People don't think in this way. And anytime you throw something new at them, it makes them a little uncomfortable. But we are going to continue. We're going to push forward. We're going to drive. And we are going to change the way America thinks about their money. Not getting out of debt, not having fear about the future, but having hope about the future because they're involved with Trivesta, our life-changing products, and we're going to show them how to build wealth. So Prospio empowers you with advanced strategies, just like the big banks and companies use to manage their cash. It's going to take every dollar earned, saved, and spent. After every transaction and reconciliation every evening, it adjusts like a GPS system and directs you to the exact penny of the most effective way to reduce interest, build wealth, and eliminate debt. It requires thousands of complex algorithms that the mortgage companies and the finance companies that the banks use every day that have never been available to the general public, Joe public, people like me, people like you. But those of us who understand it, we're starting to live the American dream. I want to be living the American dream with you. That's what we're here to do. These algorithms run 24/7, 365, showing you the best way to move money. So it's different than all the other systems you see out there. You know, I'm going to talk a little bit here about a system, and this is not, I don't want to take on the 800-pound gorilla. Dave Ramsey have an amazing program. What Dave Ramsey's done for lives is absolutely amazing. I wish I had an opportunity to shake that man's hand, get to meet him personally. I'm hoping someday that I will, because we're both having the same goal about getting America debt-free. But our system takes his system and puts it into overdrive. His system is like in a Hyundai, and our system's like in a Lamborghini, because his system is the debt snowball effect. And he's trying to do the right thing with the tools that he has and that he had available. Nobody has the patented system that we have, and they should stop thinking of the old and getting into the new. And one of the things also that we're going to go over here before I get to the next section is credit cards. You know, one of the things Dave Ramsey teaches, and I've been trained by the Dave Ramsey system, my wife and I, about 12 years ago. Phenomenal system again. But here's where I disagree with Mr. Ramsey on credit cards, that you should tear those things up, that you should get rid of them, that they're evil. I think that's the same as if you had a problem with alcohol, to say to you that you should never ever walk into a restaurant, never walk into a bar, never go to a baseball game or a football game where they serve liquor, beer, of anything, because you want to completely remove yourself from it. I don't believe that's the answer, my friends. I believe the answer is we want to educate you so that you can be in those environments, give you the help that you need so that you don't have to avoid everybody, avoid your neighbors, avoid your friends, not go to the events, not enjoy life. And it's the same when you talk credit cards. Did you know that all credit cards are is your credit worthiness that you've created, that you've worked hard for? A bank is willing to give you money of theirs. It's different than you putting your money to them and them using it for interest. You can take a credit card, and when you get that credit card today, it has a limit on it. And if you go buy something, not with your money, but with that credit card, and you can be, your stewardship, you could be strong enough to make sure that every 26, 27 days you pay that balance to zero before interest hits. You just used somebody else's money, interest-free. You buy all your food, you buy all your gas, when you take your wife out to dinner, you get the kids' shoes, everything that's possible you put on the credit card, the gym memberships, the whatever, everything. And your money sits in the bank and earns some interest. So when you get paid at the end of the month, you put your money in a savings account, even if it's only earning 1%, who cares, it's earning something. And you use a bank's credit card for free, and then you pay it off before any interest hits it. You use somebody else's money for free while your interest was earning something. Doesn't matter what it's earning. Don't care if it's a fraction of a percent. It's more than earning nothing. And if you keep doing that over time, you earn interest on interest. And not only do you do that, we're in an age where rewards are everything. I take my kids, I don't care where I take them to eat, they can't get a hamburger without some kind of a toy being attached to it, right? I mean, you buy a hamburger at McDonald's or Wendy's, I don't care where you go. I've got a closet full of useless 25-cent plastic toys that were made somewhere. I think you all know what I'm talking about. I'm frustrated with those toys. Because I make my kids give them back. We have so many of them, don't even appreciate them anymore because they're just something that they get. It's an expectation they have. Well, that's what happens with credit cards. With credit cards, when you go buy something, you earn points. You can redeem those points for flight miles. Take your wife to dinner. Do what my wife does. Go on Amazon.com and go shopping, right? Doesn't matter what you're doing with them. The point is, because they're given to you as points, you never pay tax on them, and they're given to you for free by charging money and then paying that money off on a credit card. So not only did you use somebody else's money for free if you pay it off in 26, 27 days, they're paying you to use their money for free. My friends, that could be a powerful tool in creating a better future for yourself, and Prospio will show you how to do that. You already know it's the world's most advanced personal financial system, 15 to 20 minutes a week on this webcast because you've been using it. Maybe you invited somebody to this webcast who hasn't. So I will go over that. The systems and the programs that do not take variations into income and spending can never be as effective as Prospio. When your money comes in, the day it comes in, maybe you're getting paid at different times, maybe you get a tax return, maybe somebody passed away in your family and left you a few dollars, maybe somebody who owed you money for the last 10 years finally decided to pay up. Wherever that money comes in, when you put that into a system and you make the system aware of it, it can immediately put it to use for you. No other system can do that other than the Prospio system. That's what's powerful about our system. It will reconcile daily. And remember, those who don't understand interest are doomed to pay it. Those who do are destined to earn it. The author unknown. The author, you're looking at it. I believe that. I live that. And I want you to live it too. How does Prospio work? It sounds too good to be true. Whoops, this thing went down. Sorry. Questions asked all the time. I'm going to paint a picture for you. Did you know that if you finance your home today for 30 years and your mortgage was $225,000 and your payment was $1,200, that you would know the exact day that you're going to own that home, and you'll know the exact amount of interest to the penny that you're going to pay? How is that possible? How, when I go to closing, can they tell me they know exactly to the penny what I'm going to spend over 30 years? Because again, it's math. It's algorithms. It does not lie. So if that's the truth, then what about if you reversed that technology because you understand it? Think about that as we continue. Did you know that if you paid the exact same amount of that $1,200 a month on your 30-year mortgage, but instead you didn't have Prospio, you didn't have Dave Ramsey, you didn't have Joe Cherry, you didn't have Tim Taylor, you didn't have anybody at all you did was take that $1,200 and you broke it up into $600 on the 15th and $600 on the 31st, that you'd save almost 5 years in payments anyway, because you're paying some of the dollars early so it doesn't accumulate interest over time. Because again, a system was put in place. They want you to let the interest accumulate the whole month and pay your mortgage sometime within 5 days of the first. It's the system. Break the system. Use Prospio. Change your life. Prospio is going to take that same thought pattern that instead of $1,200 a month, $600 on the 15th, $600 on the 31st, it's going to put it into overdrive. It's going to use every penny. It's going to squeeze every penny of extra dollar that you have available, and it is going to help use it. Now, I don't want to scare you with that, because in Prospio, you can set minimums. If you have $5,000 extra, you can tell the system, I don't ever want to go below $5,000 in my savings, $10,000 in my savings, $5,000 in my checking too. I always want access to $10,000 cash. I could tell you you'd be above the average American, because most Americans don't have that. They can't get their hands on $500 for an emergency. Forget $10,000. But let's say you had that there. You had that in the account. You can put that in the system. It'll never touch that. It'll use all those extra dollars. And you're about to learn something right now about other things it can do for you. This is where Prospio gets exciting. What if not just helping you build wealth by eliminating the interest, which will eliminate debt, but what if it actually helped you make the right decisions, because now you understand interest? So let's take this example. It takes into account all debts, all income on the exact day it hits your account. It then knows strategically the exact amount to pay, the day to pay those debts to eliminate interest and wealth of every action. It can also help you understand the choices you make, how they influence the interest you will end up overpaying, and how it ultimately affects your debt and wealth. Look, that's a lot of words. I'm going to break it down simple. I talk fast. You're going to have to get used to that on my webcast. I get excited. If you buy a $1,000 TV for cash right now, if you got an extra $1,000 right now where you're at, and you go decide to buy that TV, by cash or credit, the system will tell you the cost of making that decision. Well, you're going to say, well, the cost was $1,000. You just told me I was buying a $1,000 TV. That's incorrect, my friends. Because Prospio knows if you had used that $1,000 instead to build wealth, eliminating some of that interest you're paying, which will reduce debt, that the real cost of that $1,000 was $1,311. Well, why is that? Well, how can it be $1,311? Because if you'd used the $1,000 to reduce interest instead on one of your debts, you could have saved $311 in future interest. So that means it's educating you right now. When you tell your wife you want to go buy the $1,000 TV, she can look on Prospio and say, well, actually, you know, honey, I know football season's here, but you're actually asking me to spend $1,311. Why don't you go buy the $600 TV instead? That is a powerful tool. It allows you to be a good steward of your money, to understand here your decision every time you go buy something. There's no other system in the world that can do that. Look, if that's all this system did for you, just what I just covered with you, isn't that powerful enough? If some system could really tell you the true result of every purchase you make and the decision associated with it, wouldn't that be powerful enough to just want to invest $100, $150 a month in? Because it would save you that in interest. But it does so much more. Our membership, all the other benefits you got, you heard that Tim went over before. It's not too good to be true. You've heard me say this is simple math. Anybody who knows me always hears me say that. I love numbers. Numbers to me, I sleep with numbers. I dream numbers. They actually relax me. Spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets excite me. We have a saying around here. Look, I don't want to offend ladies that may be on this call. Please don't take this offensively. This is a joke for humor. I just want to, so you understand how passionate I am about numbers, understanding the numbers, keep educating myself on numbers and interests so that I can help you. My wife tells me when I'm working on an Excel spreadsheet, it's like foreplay. That's how excited I get about working on an Excel spreadsheet. So I will just tell you, you're counting sheep and other people watch TV to fall asleep. I do numbers in my head and it puts me to sleep. So there's no other personal financial management system anywhere in the world that can provide such a comprehensive solution and understanding of interest, all while educating you on the decisions you make, like we just talked about with buying that TV. It will change your future. And if you care enough and you share the vision of Trivesta of people, helping people, and you would just care enough to go change the lives of 3 other people, friends, neighbors, coworkers, family, just 3, we could change this world. Because if they did the same thing and then they did the same thing, it's part of that old pay it forward movement. So that is the little education, the FAQ on the Prospio product. Our last thing that we're going to go over is Tim's already covered this in his webcast. I'm not going to go over. Again, this is on the FAQ for you. Do you know how Prospio works? How has it, how do you know that it worked? How has it helped others? We've already given you these numbers in the webcast. Tim's shared these numbers with you. So I'm going to not go over that part right now. But what I am going to go over is here, a mind-blowing statistic for you. In the same 28 period, we went over that $1 million that you could earn. We're going to end with this statement. It's about time you started living the American dream. It's about time you started changing your mentality from getting out of debt to building wealth. It's about time that America heard the truth about what's happening with their money and how interest works. That about time is Trivesta. We're here at the right time. The country's never needed a solution more than it needs it right now. It's people around you have never needed this solution more than they need it right now. You're hearing this message. If you don't take this message to them, you are doing them an injustice. You don't have to do this as a business. Maybe you're here, just wanted to hear about the product, somebody invited you. I haven't looked over the whole list that's here, just to be a member, just to use it, just to have your life changed. But still, even if you're not doing it as a business, go share it with 3 others so that they can use the service and they can change their lives. It's not just about doing it as a business and creating another investment opportunity for yourself. That's wonderful. That's great. The fact that Trivesta has that there, a lot of Americans, a lot of people who get involved on that side and become advocates are going to change their stars, change their zip code, change their lives. But you all begin just by using the product, even if you don't use the business aspect of it. Stop paying on your home and own your home. Have a home to leave to your children. Have a home to retire in, to sell someday so that you can have that retirement of your dreams, to help your daughter get married, and to help put children through school, which is the foundation of the vision of why Trivesta was created, to create a better future for our children tomorrow, starting today. I want to thank you for sitting in on this webcast. I hope I educated you a little bit on maybe something you didn't know. Maybe you did know it, you just never looked at it at that angle. I hope you understand Prospeel a little bit more and what it can do. We're going to keep having webcasts like this. And once again, we look forward to living the dream with you. Thank you.